last week?
Great.
It was very good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get my notes actually.
Sorry you missed it.
Yeah, I am too. I heard that it was really good.
Yeah.
I'd like to meet him at some point. So, what did you guys chat about?
5 fundamental qualities of humans.
Yeah, and what were they?
I'll tell you right now. I just went over it, but see, longevity, complexion / compassion, comfort to your body, strength, both inside and mental, and knowledge.
Okay. So, how many of you guys find that joy is something that you experience every day? Truth. Yeah. And how many of you guys have certain things in your life that you consider to be blocks or limitations, sort of stuck points? Okay. Which is your preference to talk about? More joy, or be able to release or let go of some of those blockages, or both?
I personally think that both would be good, but the blockage ones are more important because they're harder
Are they?
to
Okay.
get through. That's just my perspective, though.
Okay. And I have another question. How many of you guys like to write?
Sorry, I got so excited about that question.
Yeah. Is that 3? Anybody else? Like to write by hand? Yeah? Okay. I want to mention a few things. Number one, there's an app that my friends have built that I'd like you guys to check out. It's a writing app. So I'm going to give you guys some notebooks. It's called Prose.
You're so cute.
And if you like to,
Yeah.
if you would like to write, it's actually an easy way for you to get published. It's like Instagram for writers.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. So you can download the app.
I like to lift weights and put them down. Write about it.
And
You got one coming.
So I can physically write in this?
Keeping the puck.
but it's just a simple notepad.
Doc, can I write in this?
Yeah, it's yours. It's just a little notepad to have. Everybody get a card at least, or a notepad?
Yeah, the card.
Get a card? Okay.
Can you decorate it?
You do whatever you like with it.
Throw some paint on it.
The reason I bring it up is because one of the things that I recommend is that if you'd like to have more joy and less blocks in your life, I recommend that you write by hand. Some of you guys are fans of Abraham? Sure. Some of you guys, yeah? I know that Shlomi's talked about that. There's a lot to be said for handwriting. These days, kids in many schools don't even do any handwriting at all. So I've been working on something that's called the Vimala system for a long time now, for the last year. And I've been doing it just about every day. And what I found is that it's had a very transformative effect on my life. What she says is that each one of the letters in the alphabet actually means something more than the sound. Is there like a
Margaret?
yeah, like
What you got it.
yeah. So for example, that letter is the letter S. So what most of us learned was what? That? Or how many of you learned something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. What
They don't
she
even
said,
teach cursive anymore.
that's right.
They took it out 3 years ago.
That's right. So what happens a lot of times is there's parts of your nervous system that don't get worked. There's a motor coordination. There's a book that the author recommended to me called The Hand. You have to check it out. Does everybody have a place to, like a little piece of paper to write? If you don't, can you get a pen and paper from somebody?
Oh, jeez.
To read.
Ready? Okay. So the first letter of your first name and the first letter of your last name says a lot about you and who you are.
Who's the handwritten by?
The book is, I don't remember the author at the moment. But the second book I'd like you guys to take a look at is this one we're going to talk about. It's called Change Your Handwriting, Change Your Life. So this book was a book that I was really drawn to it. And the author is someone who I consider to be very realistic. She's one of these people who, and you can find an interview with her. Her name is Vimala Rogers. Vimala. Vimala. And she is really something. She studied the alphabet for over 40 years and studied dozens of different languages, including Latin, Roman, Greek, Sanskrit, English, those kinds of things. And what she says is that when we learn the alphabet, what most of us learn is that this is a symbol and it's connected to a sound, right? And what she says is that it's much deeper than that. This is actually the letter of balance. That's the letter S. So let's say that your name is Sam. That's the first letter in your first name, the letter Sam, the letter S for Sam. She'll say what she said is that this will end up showing up in your life as part of your unique gifts. Your ability to have balance will also be part of your challenges or opportunities for growth. And she has she has a kit which is Transform Your Life Through Handwriting, which I recommend even more. And the reason I do is because it's got 2 CDs on it, and she talks about each letter in depth. Not only what the letter is, not what it's about, but how you actually write it. So what I want you guys to do is this. From 1 to 10, how much stress do you feel at the moment?
Like this
Let's
second.
say 10 is just feel really good, and 1 is very, very stressed out, tired, anxious, whatever. You're about a 2. Okay. Everybody got a number?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Write it down. Okay. Watch this. That's called miles of lace. So give that a try on your page and just see what happens. Pay attention to the energy. Imagine that every...
Next to the number, or
Yeah. What I want you to do is feel what it feels like to do that like a meditation.
Red neck.
all the way down the figure.
It's kind of peaceful.
Can you feel that?
Next week we're having an art class.
Oh,
What do you notice?
Okay.
right.
Like the start is
This
How can I say it?
rhythm.
the
Yeah.
beginning is different from the end. Like mine on the last one looks a lot better than mine on the first one did.
How many of you guys noticed that there seemed to be like some resistance in the beginning? Okay.
Yeah. I was
They feel almost like something else was doing
pressure.
it? Okay. Consider that might be a little bit like your subconscious mind. It's pretty trippy. So-
at the end, I started getting really stressed out towards the end. I was like, it's not perfect.
Okay.
Why is
So
it
now
so
do another line of it, and this time relax, and can you do it like Rob said, with a rhythm where you breathe? And simply relax and use your will.
I think I have an advantage because I'm left-handed.
I'm left-handed too.
Ooh.
This one's a lot looser than my first one.
There's one smaller.
and prettier.
Yeah. So how many of you guys like actually feel a little bit of this kind of peace, like begin to
Cause you to
Start
focus, to
chilling
be
out.
present.
Yeah.
A little bit. Just because it's. I feel like you're going back and forth between both different, both equilibrium or both sides of your mind, right?
Yep.
You feel it.
Yeah, I can feel it too when I do it. Okay, now switch hands.
Already did. Ahead of you.
All right. There it goes. Oh, no.
Hopefully, I don't drown the
Yeah, don't throw on the table, Ross.
table.
I don't drop the table.
This
So
isn't color me
left-handed,
mine.
I can't do anything.
I like don't even know.
Oh, no way.
Actually, it's better.
I
I'll give you a hint. If you hold the pen the same way that you do with your right hand.
I am.
So if you hold it, you write like this.
Yes. I got in trouble for it in kindergarten, but I was too stubborn to change it because it felt comfortable to me.
It's okay. I've really never used a pencil before.
Oh my gosh, mine was atrocious.
Never took SATs or any Scantrons.
Felt looser.
Yeah,
felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even done with
Felt
mine.
looser.
It's
It's not
a
too
struggle.
good, but it felt looser.
Yeah.
You're not
Mine's
like
looser, yeah.
Is it tight? Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It really does.
So there's another book, and I have not read it yet, but I want to mention this book. It's called The Power of Your Other Hand, and Lucia Capaccioni. I read. What I did is I contacted the author, and I've been talking to her through email and whatnot, and she's been really kind to me and referring to me to other sources. And what I did is I changed every single letter of my alphabet. So I used to write in all caps, in all block letters, in block print, right? And I started looking at graphology and handwriting and these kinds of things. And I'd heard about it before. How many of you guys have heard about graphology and handwriting analysis? And so I took this on as a practice. And I started noticing that when I practiced a particular word, or excuse me, a letter, is there
eraser.
an eraser?
I was gonna say it's right
I thought
there,
it-
but
I thought
that's
your phone was
not.
iPhone.
That'll not work.
It's one thing the iPhone can't do.
Sorry.
After that.
That's next year's model.
Yeah. iPhone 7.
Right?
6S.
6.
Success. Sorry.
Okay. So one of the things that you need, you can find Viva Rogers' website is IIHS.com, Integral Institute of Handwriting Studies.
And rising.
Handwriting. That's a hypnosis class coming up.
IIHS.com.
IIHS.com.
Is
Yeah.
it Viva or Viva?
Vimala, Vimala. So his letter, the first letter R, right? This is my birth name is Robert. We share the same. That's called the letter of inner creativity. Your letter, remember I told you? Letter J?
Yeah.
That's the letter of intuition.
My initials are JK.
Huh?
My initials are JK.
K is the
Just
letter of
Mine are.
K is the letter of handling authority.
Ooh.
So who has an L? That's the letter of innate spirituality.
What's that?
Do you? M is the letter of divine grace.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Isn't it? It's really
Yeah.
something.
It's what again?
The letter of divine grace.
I'm sorry, what did you say? L?
L is the letter of innate spirituality.
A.
A is the letter of spiritual stardom.
How did you figure all this out? Like, where did you get?
Read the book.
Okay,
C.
You memorized it. Sounds like
I've been working on it for a while.
that's so.
And I've noticed there's all these wonderful details about things. One of the things that she did is she went and started looking at the handwriting of people who were famous throughout history. Here's the letter A. This is called the Lincoln's foot, and it relates to honesty. And see, that is letter I. That's saying that downstroke is actually saying I am. Imagine if every single time that you wrote with a pen, what you're programming your mind with, or reprogramming it, is I am, I am, I am. Every downstroke like that.
So does your signature say a lot about you?
Yeah.
Like the way that you write the letter?
Yeah, there's all kinds of things in graphology. And again, this is one of those things where what I like is she said, don't believe me, go try it for yourself and find out.
The book that I read, my dad made me read it. I only grasped certain things because I cheated and read certain pages. But the pages that I did get from are like, if you have the normal lines of a page, right? If people write, just like you were saying, all block letters, going all the way up to the top, if you're writing your name like this and you're using all the space, versus, writing your name with lowercase letters and using the middle of the line where lowercase letters are supposed to be, it says something so different about you that somebody, in a blunt way of saying it, is more full of themselves if they're taking up more space while they're writing versus giving the space and having a difference in the letters.
I mean, there's so many little teeny things like that, whether the letters are smushed together or whether they're apart, whether like you start on the far left of the page or to the right.
And if you're done after you sign something, if it goes forward, it means you think ahead a lot, and if it goes backward, you're in the past.
Right. So if you're way over on this side of the margin, you're spending a lot of time in the past. If you push yourself in your writing over here, it's much more taking risk and being in the future. Right? And so the letters, for me, they began to really come alive. And it changed my relationship with, the pen. Think about it this way. If you have this letter, right? So now that's the letter of complete trust. Trust for yourself, trust for the universe. That's a lot better than a lot deeper.
All right, have a seat. Yeah.
So none of the letters are bad. In fact, the whole alphabet is soul based.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's H then?
H is one of my favorites. This is the letter of dynamic self-expression.
Wow.
That's 2 I am strokes.
Yeah.
What was the S one again?
So bear in mind, guys, what I'm sharing with you is pretty incomplete knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm being very careful. I could go out and learn some of this stuff. What's that?
E.
That's the letter of spiritually based business. Spiritually based business. Okay? This, if you'd like to feel a little bit of willpower, what that's like, give this a try and just see. That's a willpower stroke. These are all
Is
in
that
the
an angle?
It's a T.
Does it matter if it's at an angle versus straight?
Yeah, what it says in the book is, if you really want to amp it up. So here's what I want you guys to do is take your finger and put it in the air. How many of you do the letter O? So it goes, which way do you do the letter O? Clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clockwise.
I do it when I'm counterclockwise.
I do it clockwise.
Okay, who does it clockwise? Rob does? So some of you do it clockwise and counterclockwise. Okay, everybody do it this way.
Clockwise. Always.
Now do it in the air. Now feel the energy. Now go the other way.
Counterintuitive.
Does it feel different?
Yeah.
It's like crossing the opposite arm, on top. It just feels awkward.
Yeah.
It's like doing flyers when you talk to people.
Yeah.
So this is a letter of verbal communication.
This is open, right?
Looks like a mouth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what Wasn't it an Indian that made the English language in the alphabet?
Well, a lot of this is Roman.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So should you do your O's clockwise?
So what number is that?
One,
What number is that?
Is it?
2, 4,
5.
4.
4 and
Four,
5.
five.
What number is that?
What's 10? Oh, that's 30. That's like 100.
M.
What number is that?
MC Hammer. Sorry.
What number is that?
A
So
million?
a lot of these came from the Roman.
I just don't get how letters can be numbers also.
Well, the Roman alphabet
Yeah.
had a numerical system.
Mhm.
You know when you watch movies at the end where they'll say, you know, the movie was made in 1999, and then it'll have this MCLXXXVII.
It's like the Super Bowl is in these. It's in the numerals.
See that?
Mhm.
That's 10.
All that together is 10?
X is 10.
X.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So this is a 1, that's a 5. This is a 10, and I believe this is a 1,000, and one of these is 50. Right?
I used to know them.
And they're also all letters in our alphabet.
Very interesting. Where did they even come from?
And then what's that?
Where did they come from?
That's a good question. They probably come from something even earlier than that.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of this, there are also a lot of Sanskrit roots.
I mean, Sumerian, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So how do we apply this to
well, what I wanted to,
joy?
what's that?
How do you apply it to joy or to
Okay.
unstuckness?
Good question.
Yeah, and stuff.
Yeah, let's all make up words.
What if,
Is that a word?
It is now.
Now it is.
what if you were to consider
Just add some suffixes.
taking the letters of your name?
Add a suffix.
First thing I'll do is say this. I went through this before a little bit like this, but if you knew that that was more than a sound, but actually was a letter of complete trust, that would actually change this word. This is the letter of spiritual stardom, and this is the letter of the visionary. Right? It begins to make words take on a different meaning.
Whoa.
This is what they teach in like prison, so they can like get passwords.
That's a whole
Probably.
other
Actually, there's
They
actually,
do it.
could you imagine like read this book and then
If they
gonna
don't,
talk?
they should.
sorry.
It's okay. There's a whole other story. It's another language that I got into for a while called Aui, where I don't know if the story is true, but supposedly the guy created this language called Aui, A-U-I, and he went and worked on prisoners in the military brig in 1971, and it was a language where you could only speak in truthful words, truthful concepts. And so all of these prisoners in the brig, supposedly they offered to teach them this language. And they're like, screw off. They said, look, you'll be able to do all of your communications for all of your crimes and illicit drugs and things like that. You'll be able to do it without the guards hearing about it. They're like, okay, teach us. So as the story goes, they taught them, and they ended up becoming virtual saints because they reprogrammed themselves. Now, how true that is, I'm not certain. I haven't verified it. But if you get a book on Ahui, you can read about it. It's a pretty rare book. But yeah, I'm sure this could actually help prisoners. Here's the thing: if every letter that you write has a deeper meaning, every letter combines to make a word. Those words combine to make sentences. Those sentences combine to make what?
Paragraphs.
Yeah. Your writing, your thoughts, and your speech. So things to me like the word love this is the letter of innate spirituality, the letter of oral communication, the letter of discernment of the truth, and the letter of tolerance.
Are you choosing to write the L and the E that specific way?
Yes. So the way
Okay.
all of these letters that I'm doing, and the thing is, like here, most people do a P like this. Okay, try this. This is the letter of friendship, which, by the way, this year is the letter of friendship.
Can you please repeat what the B and the E meant?
The V is the letter of discernment, and E is the letter of tolerance.
Thank you so
I
much.
just discovered something. When you said put your finger up and make an O, without the pen, it's right. But when I went to write love, it went left.
So it's subconscious mind.
Yeah.
JK.
Just kidding.
So I've noticed that too. Like I'll go back. There's certain letters or numbers that I've drawn in a particular way my entire life, and my subconscious mind, or some part of me, will actually cause me to do the letter in an old way.
Just
Because I used to write like this. All cap, all block, all separate. And in black ink. So I had a conversation about it, and what I found out is that many times this is about a lot of anger. There's walls. You notice this is all shouting.
yeah.
It's all big, it's all capitalized. Every single letter is separated from everything else. There's no connection.
Wow.
And behind that, supposedly, is anger from betrayal earlier in life. So I decided to change the way that I do my handwriting, to begin to get rid of those blocks and limitations. And it brought up a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot.
Just from writing.
Yes.
Did you choose to write more?
I mean, there are times literally where I was, times where I felt like I was experiencing real grace. Right? Like my soul was experiencing real grace. Other times where I was brought to tears, or really, really pissed off, really angry. And there's so much. Now, that's one of the reasons I'm bringing up prose as an act. Because there's a community of people there. There's thousands of people who are writers, creative writers. You can write poetry, you can write articles, you can write jokes, you can write whatever you like. You can write philosophy, anything you like, and you can contribute to that community, and people will follow you and comment on your writings. You can upload photographs and things like that. Now, you're not going to be using the handwriting, but it is an actual way to do creative expression. And one of the things they just had also was a contest, and in the contest, if you're one of the people who gets picked, you get published in a Kindle anthology on Amazon.
Oh
And
my goodness.
you don't have to pay anything at all. It's free.
Oh my goodness.
Is
So
it
it may end up being the future model of publishing.
like performing rights organizations?
Huh?
PROs?
I don't know what that is.
PROs it's an acronym for like ASCAP or BMI, like a performing rights organization. I thought that's maybe what you were saying. I miss you say it the first time.
Prose.
Mhm.
PROSE. That's
Oh,
the
okay.
app.
The same thing on that card.
But
I didn't. No, I'll get one. It's okay. Perfect.
So I'm sorry if I was late. I didn't know if I was expected to start right away. I figured you were handling things up front.
No, it's okay.
Right?
We were supposed to have a personal development book report, but it's okay.
You were?
Yeah,
He wasn't here.
He wasn't
It's
here.
okay.
Oh, he didn't show up?
Yeah, he's got family stuff.
Personal development book report?
Yeah.
yeah, like he read a book and he was going to do a book report. Just
Oh,
read it
so
to us for
cute.
10 minutes.
Okay. Well, this is my book report.
It really is. Yeah.
A couple more letters, you'll have a book.
So this one is one of my favorites. How many of you guys do your X like this? Switch it.
Switch it out.
Talking about my whole name here.
Okay. See this?
That changed everything.
Which way is the energy going?
Away.
Past.
Whoa.
Now, if you switch it,
Oh, that helps.
It's going forward.
So, you know,
Please,
how you
yeah.
Instead of
you
doing
were saying how
this.
deciding things like making
Yeah,
a
no, you do
back versus forward.
Mhm.
When you said that, I just remembered I used to, when I signed my name on an O at the end, and so I used to make
Have them both
huge
go separately.
back across
Have
my
them both
whole signature.
Okay.
And I've noticed that I don't even make the loop
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, really?
at the end. I leave,
Did you go back
Nothing in
over or under?
because I do my O's
Sarah Jones Robert.
counterclockwise, so I loop it into the O and then I leave the stick out forward, I guess. I leave it out instead of looping it around.
Okay.
That one.
I believe
like,
it.
I don't know what
Okay, I know what you Okay.
All
What
these
do you know?
axes
What
and
do you
O's are
notice?
playing tic-tac-toe over here.
I feel like I've been living much happier and I've been making a lot more effort to I don't know, put a lot more positive energy into the world. I've been receiving a lot more positive things.
Have you? Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
What I noticed is this: if you guys will handwrite what it is that you'd like, consider that it'll start showing up in your life a lot more.
Boom.
Now they say write your goals down.
Get your like. I went over to. Have you ever heard of Bick's Art Store?
Yes.
Okay. Consider going to Bick's Art Store and getting a notepad with unlined paper.
So green.
That's right. Because we go to school and we all learn to write on lined paper. So you have this really, really rigid format to work in. Now, consider if you took this X, and that's the letter of inner authority, and all the energy's going back this way. What's that saying about your inner authority? If what you do is you change it, it's going this way, what will happen to the energy? What happens if every single letter that you write, the energy is moving you forward, propelling you forward? Okay. Beginning to make sense? A little
Yeah.
more?
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, please.
So I've been journaling since I was 7 years old, and my favorite journals before this one were huge 500-page books that were just completely blank. I decorated the outside, and I just would write my mind on the page, and like I said, it was just so freeing to not have the restrictions of the line, and one would think, well, it's just a line, like it's so simple, but really it's a limitation that like society has really put on you, and so
That's
to
right.
have that free space to just blurt it out on paper, and it doesn't have to be straight, and it doesn't have to be perfect, was just like such a great experience. And I did art in there, like it was great.
I agree with you.
I like always hated it. I love like graph paper. It's so strict, but
Did you?
there's a structure.
Yeah?
Yeah, you could
She-
choose,
she
and then you
writes
get the
about-
spacings and
She,
the
it's
different.
funny, she writes about that in the book. She writes about like people who like, there's no judgment at all, but like people who really like the graph paper, when they get the blank paper, they kind of freak out a little bit. Like it's just so open and so, right?
I'm not gonna lie. When I have blank paper, I end up drawing lines so that I can write.
Freedom can be scary to some people.
I used
That's
to put
exactly
a
what you
piece
said.
of lined paper underneath it
Well,
so that I could
here's
still
what I-
write lines.
Here's
Yeah.
what I've noticed is that I've gotten a lot more comfortable
Big book
with
report.
having a big blank white piece of paper. And I know that many times just for writing, staring at that big blank white piece of paper, I would be like, oh, I get writer's block.
Yeah.
What am I going to write?
Mm-hmm.
But now, since I've been practicing, and what I did as well, I took my notebook, which I may have brought with me. I may have brought with me. I turned it sideways to landscape.
That's pretty
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah.
Wants to practice.
I do.
Big piece
Wait,
of paper.
whoa. Oh my gosh, is it neon? Oh, neat.
So this, see this?
Put them in town.
I do. Yeah.
Does anybody else want? Nice. Post some paper.
So I just went over to Bix and I got this. And when I started doing the pages, I started using different colors.
Each page is different.
Right. So for example, there's a kind of a turquoise color, which is the color of divine grace. I started working with some green and blue, and I let go of using black pens, black ink.
Why?
What she talks about is when you're doing this kind of handwriting and creativity, stick with the colors. The black ink is sort of like a reminder of all. If it's for business, that's fine. But if you, or what I'll say what you write about. If you use the line paper with the black ink for business, that's fine. But for this, have fun, right? When you write with your opposite hand, that book I told you about, the power of your non-dominant or other hand, you're actually, what Lucia Capaccioni talks about, is you're able to release repressed emotion. And you're able to contact your inner child.
I do it randomly. I've actually gotten a lot
Yeah?
better. Yeah, I practice writing with my left hand. It's super cool.
So here's an example of a page that I did. So this is the letter P and H together. And when two letters are together as one letter, it's called a ligature. You'll see all this stuff on our website. Now, when I do this, my declaration of intent that I hold, is my aura is pure by the attitudes I express. So what it does is just clears my space out. My head, my mind, my energy just gets cleared out. And I don't know about you guys, but I can feel it. So this is a kind of meditation, and it's really purposeful. You can practice with your dominant hand, your non-dominant hand, and how about this? Pick the letter X and do 3 lines of the letter X.
Your opposite hand.
Pick a hand, either your dominant or non-dominant.
I think why I hated doing this writing is because I did so many standards as a kid.
What are standards? Just bring it up. I see you're over there. You look
No,
like,
standards.
what are
When
standards?
you're in trouble, they have you write like over
Yeah,
and
on the
over
board,
and over.
and over on the board.
Oh, like you got in trouble?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like,
I
was wondering why you were-
Right.
I was looking at you. I was like, "Well, man, he's really steaming."
No, I'm not steaming. I'm just
That's what they call them, standards.
Yeah.
His subconscious
Triggered
demeanor
it, yeah.
is he doesn't even realize that.
What do
Yeah.
they call it?
I mean, right?
Standards.
The body
Yeah.
language says one
So
thing.
they're standardizing you.
yeah,
Wow, that's a trip.
right?
Now you know why these kids are coming out of school so messed up.
Wow.
Not
I do,
parents
Roz.
anymore. That's
I'm
why.
gonna do it with parents.
Huh? Yeah.
Roz, did you?
So bad.
What's
No,
up?
not bad stuff.
Not
You know
me.
what I
So
mean?
here, I'll give you guys an example, okay?
Take away from their learning.
You ready? So as you're doing that, listen to this. If there are 7 families of letters, and the first family is the family of communication, it's the letter A, letter O, letter D, letter G, letter Q, letter P. The second family is the family of learning and evaluating, which is Y, U, W, and V. The third family is the family of honoring and expressing, which is the letters M, N, and H. The fourth family is the family of insight, the letters L, E, I, and J. The fifth is the family of applied creativity, F, R, and S. And the sixth, the family of status, T, then a ligature called TH, which looks like this, which is a lot of fun. Right here. This is the letter, this is flexibility. The letter K is also part of that as well, and B. And then the sixth family is the family of trusting and authority, C, X, and then the Z stands alone. So
What is-
consider letter Z.
Yeah, it's down below.
That's the letter of contentment.
What about Y?
Five again.
Y is the letter of self-acknowledgement.
What was 5 again? I'm sorry.
The fifth family Let's see. First, third, fourth. The fifth is the whoops.
Family peril. If you have a O.
What if you don't identify with your first name? People have nicknames and
Oh my god.
It's the letter of. It's the letter of. 1 second. Or the family of.
I will not glue my hands together.
Status. That's the fifth.
It's really interesting.
Okay, 1 second. So now consider that each one of those families, those grouping of letters, relates to different stages of your development as a human being and your personality. Beginning to see like how much that there is in the language that we're never taught, and like how much deeper and richer and fuller there is. Which letters did you have to do over and over?
I will not glue my hands together. I will not punch
A lot of
people
I
in the
will
face. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I will. I will
Really?
not. Or
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned to be nice to other students.
Yeah.
You got a lot of that, huh?
Throw sand in
Yeah,
people's
we got
face.
it.
Those kinds of things?
I will waste my
Like
hands.
for like out like literally like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Wow.
literally.
Yeah.
I had a teacher that like that was his thing, 100 standards.
So they call them standards here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys. That just made.
A lot of sense.
There's a workshop that I took, and they were talking about standardization in school, and so literally standardization, doing standards.
Yeah, in front of everyone though. That's
Oh, really?
Yeah, on the blackboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In front of everybody?
Everyone's doing their work.
Class, but
So it's a little
did
bit
that.
almost
We
like
had to-
being publicly shamed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the teachers are just as bad as the kids
Yeah.
about that bullying thing.
Wow. Wow.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Wow,
I
dude.
never had to do them.
Only
they get
paid for it.
Like we had to do them in
Yeah.
class.
I didn't really listen, but I mean,
Man, that's the kind of thing you see in movies, but I didn't know they were.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do it nowadays because I'm not in elementary, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, back in the day
I
they did
haven't
that.
seen it.
Wow. So, okay, thanks for sharing that. So, who did their X?
I'm actually writing a poem right now on my big yellow paper.
Anybody do the X?
Yeah.
What did it feel like?
Well, I've been used.
Anybody notice anything? Guys?
Felt loose.
What'd you notice?
It felt more like I was drawing than I was writing.
It made me angry.
Did it?
It made me feel like
I did X's and then I put O's around them.
Did you?
Wait, why did you draw that?
I did it with my left hand, actually.
This is not a public shaming, right?
That's a pretty cool happy face.
Thanks.
Happy.
With an O and an O inside the O.
Right. Okay.
Oh.
So you notice you got angry?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. Okay. Do another page or do several more lines.
Yeah, you want to go up on there, right?
Because I've had a similar experience where what it felt like is that I had a breakthrough. It was like a release. Was it with your non-dominant, your other hand, or your?
My left hand to the opposite hand during
Yeah.
the accents.
See that? Isn't that something?
So
Yours
it
did?
happened right before like an emotional release. You would say?
Well, if you keep doing it, what I've noticed is
Okay.
that when I did the with my non-dominant hand, because what I learned was that she combined the writing the Vimala system with the non-dominant hand practice to bring out unexpressed emotions. So maybe what you're actually doing is allowing the anger to come out, which is good. One thing I know is that a lot of us have emotions, number one, that aren't ours, that we've taken on, that are in our body. And number two, sometimes the emotion is so repressed that we don't believe we have an emotion. We're numb.
So true.
And if you can release it and get it out of your body, what happens is you feel lighter and freer. So if the emotion comes up, you can actually refrain from judging it. Just like, oh wow, okay. What did you notice? Tell me some more about what you noticed.
I don't know, like when I write, I feel like, oh, the letter has to be perfect, right? But when I did it with my left hand and the reverse way, I felt like I was just like, oh, you're just doodling. You know?
Right.
That's what I thought.
That's how the letters feel to me too. Is it doesn't feel like I'm writing. It feels like I'm drawing. It feels more like art.
It does. I think every stroke is like important.
Right.
My accents felt powerless to me.
Yeah. Is that possibly an emotion coming up?
Probably. I've had a really interesting day.
Have you? Keep doing the X and see what happens.
We're gonna have a full page then.
Huh? Sometimes I do pages and pages of.
Like standards.
Well, it's I don't. You know what? It's funny because I don't like standards. What I do like is this. If you look at, I'll show you. If you look in these books, the reason it feels good to me is because it feels like a meditation.
The person this side and push it away.
Oh, because now I'm doing left, so now it has to be the opposite.
Do it like that.
But then I am doing it that way.
So we don't want you back.
So I should do it the opposite way now.
Push it over. Same way.
Doug, if you're drawing it with your opposite hand, then you have to go outwards. You have to go.
You
Right?
do it with your opposite hand.
You have to go
You're gonna
whatever
go like
direction
this.
of the hand you're using.
Start at the top, go down, and then come that way.
You
See
said
that?
it went
That's
this
coming
way,
into
right?
me.
Yeah.
Push it
So
away.
see how it's going forward?
You said it
But
goes
is that going forward?
Yeah.
It's coming.
So you
So
can
it has
go
nothing to do with
forward.
me. It's no relation to me. It's just
It's coming.
paper.
It's moving this direction.
Yeah, paper.
Yeah. So this is the past, and that's the future.
So you can do double going that way.
He was doing it like
I like
down.
this. Watch. So if you go
You're going down and then this way.
here,
Right. So you're going this way first.
He's
right.
going
Bring
in
it. The
here.
first stroke is this, and then you
You
can
can't go this
you
way.
move forward.
Could you go both ways?
That
Can
way.
you go forward?
You could do it. Yeah.
The question is,
Well,
why does
you
this
could-
one have
obviously,
to
you can
come
do
in?
it however you want.
No, but I'm
What she
saying.
says in the book is to do it this particular way.
Do you have any idea why going backwards then going forwards is better than
Going forward,
Going
forward.
forward.
Because I felt different. Well, I felt different because I went forward.
It may not mean
pushing
forward.
Did you?
I did forward,
And
forward.
it made me feel sad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because here,
It's so funny because this is so much easier. Just going.
I'm right.
You
It's
look
so
like
much
you really want to
easier.
try the pin in there. Like,
see this guy? I've done this thousands of times.
Damn good X.
Yeah, that's a beautiful X right there.
The other thing I do is sometimes when I drive, I put my hands on the steering wheel and I'll just go like this.
What's X
To
mean
the
again?
beat or just
So-
Why?
What's X mean again?
Yeah, why do you do that?
Programming is forward.
What if the past and the future come together, supported by the earth and from the heavens above in your heart?
holy freaking moly?
You do that?
Oh,
Can
can
you
you
put
please
X in
repeat
my name?
that? Yeah, repeat
What
that.
that
Wait,
means.
let me write it down first.
So
So I'll say.
if I'm wrong about this, you can correct me. But this is the future coming to you. Here's the past. This is coming up, receiving, and receiving from above as well. So if you look at Mother Earth is your mother, this is your father, so to speak, right? You're receiving from the heavens above, supported by the earth, supported by Mother Earth, coming together, all those join where? Right here.
Writing to me brings up so much emotion, like, and it feels so good. And like when Alex gave me this paper, I wasn't afraid of it. I just like boom, poem, and I'm actually writing another poem right now. And it's no disrespect at all, but when you're talking about the X's, like I was in my own world, and this paper was like my free ticket, and I just let it go, and it just feels so good.
That's nice.
So that's why, like, when you gave me that book, I was so overjoyed because it's like, it's just a way to communicate, you know?
Yes, it is.
What was the top arrow again? Heaven? heavens.
Well, if you look at this like a little kid, just make it simple. Where is this coming from?
The clouds.
Right. Is it receiving?
The heavens.
Right.
Right.
What's that look like? Yep. I look like the letter X.
Like an hourglass.
You've been working out.
And what about the past?
Past.
So coming from the past.
Past.
We got all mixed up with the past. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's like you said, coming. Is the heart guided by the heavens, supported by the earth? Past coming to you, and then future coming to you, and then past is what?
Here's the past. So you're receiving.
Whoa.
How about this?
I just wrote past coming to you, and it was meant to be the future.
Really? Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right, if I read this,
Yes.
letter X.
Right.
Okay.
Back up.
Okay. These are feelings that you're receiving. So the past, the future. Let's see. Essentially, the letter X represents your inner authority, that part of you that represents your exclusivity on this planet, your stance, your solidity, your presence, with 4 V's joining in the center. See that?
Oh,
V, 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 V.
As opposed to 2 V's?
Huh?
As opposed to just 2?
There's 4. How can there be 2?
If there's the upper and the lower.
Right.
What about the side?
What about this and that?
No, I mean, I see that side of it, but you'd get the same letter by drawing.
but they're all V's.
I get that. It's double. It's using the same lines twice. Is what I'm saying.
But if you look at it like this, it's
yeah.
still
Oh, I
a V.
see what-
Yeah.
Well, let's see. If you have it this, right? Is that what you mean?
Right. So it's
2
the
V's?
same. Right.
Okay.
Or
And so you're saying that
more.
if you look at this, you're counting it twice, and so
Right.
that's like that's sort of a subconscious rule for you.
Okay.
Is that right? Like that's what you just expressed. Like, oh wait a minute, you can't do that twice. Is that kind of how you perceived it? I'm not
that you
saying any
can't.
of this is
Not that-
wrong.
no, not that you can't. I don't really know how to describe it. That's it.
Do
I didn't see it as that you can't go over the same line. It just didn't make sense in my head to
Right.
retrace an outline to say that that's another letter. To retrace the same outline.
okay. Does it look like that's possible now? You see it?
I saw how it could be 4 V's from the start. I would not consider it 4 V's in my head.
Got it. Okay.
I'd consider it 2 if we're
2 V's.
if we're looking at the V's.
Okay. So this would you consider?
Yeah, so you're considering
Would you
one
consider that a V?
upwards and one down.
Sideways.
You would?
I'd consider it more of an arrow.
Ah, okay. So it has to do something with the verticality of it?
Oh, you didn't recognize that as a V. Oh.
Okay.
So it's 2 arrows and
Got
2
it.
V's. Like 2 arrows of V and upside down, or an almost A.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to take it,
Keep going.
I'm going with it. So if that's the train of thought, it's not 4 V's. It's 1 V, an arrow going backwards, an arrow going forwards, and almost A.
Or it's 4 arrows.
Or it's 4
Pointing to the
arrows.
heart.
Okay. Okay.
What?
Good. Yeah. So what else is possible? Okay, so what this says is, with 4 B's joining in the center, it becomes a visual representation of decisions that come from thoughts from above, receiving from above, feelings, receiving from the earth, from below, the past, and the future. alphabetically, the letter X has a lengthy history around the globe. So I may be wrong about receiving from above and below, but I'm not sure that I am. Alphabetically, the letter X has a lengthy history around the globe. In the Germanic runes, the letter that is shaped like the X is called Gibo, representing a partnership of self with self. So small s self and soul, or big S self. X stands for the unknown, implying the element of mystery. It's the letter the Romans used to designate the number 10, one of the most highly evolved and fundamental numbers in the science of mathematics and the greatest number in Kabbalistic and Pythagorean traditions. So it says here, if you find yourself constantly quoting other people to make a point, whether it be the Pope, the President, Ralph Waldo Emerson, or the man next door, instead of stating the fact in your own words from your own personal conviction, I definitely recommend you begin practicing the letter X. To support, you might also begin practicing the letter V as well as your autograph, as they are all intimately related. By incorporating all of these into your writing patterns at one time, a strong sense of self will be enhanced, and your need to defend, protest, grumble, or quote will gradually disappear. You will have begun to learn to go inside for answers and trust the ones you find.
You know, it's interesting when you look up X on Wikipedia, it draws it out for you.
Uh-huh.
And it draws it the opposite direction, the way that
Right.
we were used to.
Right. There's a lot of the letters that are actually reversed, and there have been multiple iterations or evolutionary stages of the English alphabet, and they keep getting kind of simpler and simpler and simpler. But the people who wrote those alphabets were not alphabeticians. They didn't know the history of the alphabets.
Wow.
They were more like calligraphers, or you know what I mean? So they would make these very, very elaborate. Like I remember I used to do these G's. That was a G I used to do. Now I don't do that anymore. I do a lowercase G that looks like that.
Oh.
Uppercase G that looks like this. G is the letter of prosperity.
We should take a picture of everyone's pages.
I know notes from Doc Barham.
No.
It's X's.
So what you were saying about if you're constantly using other people's quotations in writing or whatever, to use this X exercise because it keeps you more in touch with yourself,
Well, how about this?
or you're already alienated or what?
What I wanted you to do is I wanted you to change the letter and feel what happens when you feel the energy when it changes. And change your hand to feel what happens when you change your hand. Like, what does it bring up for you? Some of you guys are seeing or experiencing is that when you change things and you use handwriting, a lot of stuff comes up. It's a good way to document and to manifest. It's a really powerful modality.
Me too.
Did you?
Yeah, but more joyful.
Really interesting.
Not so rigid. With my right hand, I wasn't trying to, but they came out so perfect.
How about this? Try this, guys. Who has two pens?
What happens when you use two hands, one pen? Both
you
opposite hands.
That change hands.
mean somebody else's pen?
Roz is controlling the situation.
You still haven't gotten over your standards.
No.
And
Do you
results.
want to do some more?
I just made. That's what I would do, and I'd use it too.
You
I
draw
like that.
X's?
I like that cube.
Thanks.
That's cool. It's a cool cube.
Eddie has a
Are we
TV.
drawing
So somebody who has
X's
two
with
pens,
them?
2 miles of length with two hands.
Oh, like,
Where are you?
You go first.
No, you can go first.
Two X's.
What? Yeah. Let me see your cube, Rob. That's good.
That's
Call them block it.
okay.
And you block.
I did not.
Wow.
Where are you?
What do you notice?
I couldn't really
You think both pens? Let me try.
concentrate.
They're
on either
perfectly in
one.
sync.
They look absolutely horrendous, in my perception.
So do it again. See what happens.
Oh, mine aren't too bad.
Looks like a bunch of pigtails.
Can you do?
What are you calling a pigtail?
I mean,
Both of
Doug's
these are
pens
the same
are-
size?
What?
Pigs aren't kosher.
Is there another marker?
Yes, black. Black, your favorite color.
One's like way
Okay.
up there, one's like down.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like
Think
writing
about
like
it.
this.
Don't think about it. You get that.
But what do you think?
I feel amazing.
Where are
This is a good
How's
feeling.
that?
I need a airplane.
This is great.
It wasn't when I first started.
Oh no, I mean like
What'd you draw,
feeling
an
it.
It really feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Can I share? Something?
Yeah.
Is it okay if I come up or?
You
Yeah,
look like
please.
you're learning to eat sushi for the first
Okay,
time with chopsticks.
So Alex made this paper, and this is just to kind of
Thank you.
explain like what he's saying, how people write. When I have a blank page, obviously you can see that everything starts from this point and it goes all the way down here, and that's just because when I start writing, I'm in like a different space than when I end writing, and so once I get to the end, I'm starting not to care about where it belongs. I'm just focusing on what I'm feeling and getting it out. So I actually ended up busting out 3 different poems. This one's about a free bird, just explaining how I'm not tied down by society, and one's about music, and then another one's about my relationship with my biological father and how I'm learning to let go of the rigid path that he put me on. So,
I'm gonna read one.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
oh, sure. Which one would you prefer?
No, you know what? Here, can I request one?
Yes.
The one that's in the future?
This one or
No, the one that's
this one?
in the future.
This one. Okay. So this one is called Free Bird. Free, just like a bird, not held down by society or the labels of words. Connecting to my inner self, taking off the weight of my personal shell. Free like a bird, flying so high, not worried about the time that passes me by. Wings open without question, living through trust in the Lord's suggestion. Free and never alone, always flying with others to a common home. So free, I paint my own sky. My paintbrush is wet with life, never running dry. Free, just like a bird, not held down by society or the labels of words. Smiling from cheek to cheek, freely standing on my mountain's peak. God's blessed me with the beauty to create. For me, it's a language I use to relate. Free, just like a bird, not held down by society or the labels of words. Open arms, open heart. I don't know where the journey will end, but I found where it starts. Free, just like a bird in the happiest paradise, an open spirit. I create my own happiness. I long for it. Feathers so bright, colorful, and vivid, not holding resentment on those I couldn't forgive. Free, so free, just like a bird, not held down by society or the labels of words.
If I ever did my homework, I still wouldn't have a poem that good.
It's a really good
Very cool.
What?
So who did the Miles of Lace besides Jake?
Ross.
Roz?
I did mine too, and it was really messy.
Yep.
Yeah, even the right hand was messy.
Well, there's a nice interview that's on YouTube. If you type her name into YouTube, about 8 or 9 minutes long, and you can hear her talking about the letters. So what I've noticed is that when I write down those things that I'm looking to manifest, that they will show up. Some of the ones that have been really helpful for me is this one in particular. And the lowercase.
The line's in the middle for lowercase.
So the
vertical line.
idea is to come up and back down one step. So it's really helpful for focusing your intention and your attention.
But are you purposely drawing an uppercase T with the lowercase bottom?
This is the lowercase t? Yeah. So what happens when you do this, you guys learned that? For the lowercase?
Yeah.
That relates to self-esteem.
That's
So move
Okay.
it up.
that's an
having a really hard time.
because that's an F. in cursive.
Oh,
A
yeah.
No, taking the
lowercase.
top off is what he's saying.
Here's
Oh,
it.
you're taking the top off.
He just was for demonstration.
And then here's the lowercase f.
I made a cat.
Just the,
Jed's not gonna be writing. He's doing everything else but.
Standards. I'm not in cats.
this is how you get standards.
She was, but you can want to make a suggestion or make an
What?
observation
Yeah.
about this.
You should.
Because it's so reminiscent of your
kids coming back out.
it's reminiscent of your childhood. You revert to the childhood self.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm observing it.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that nobody's judging you at all.
Not at all.
Everyone's just smiling, going, okay.
Yeah,
Right. Which is totally cool.
it's just very interesting.
Yeah, it is. I've been enjoying watching it. Just like
I haven't done this in a while. You know, it's been about 10 years since I made a cat.
Still remember. See, and that's funny because
I've never
what I'm
made a
looking-
cat, so.
what I'm looking at is I'm watching all this creativity come out.
Yeah.
You said R, right? R.
And the R is the letter of inner creativity.
There you go.
Yeah, see, if the schools recognize like that, then you could expand on that.
We have a lot of
More
cats.
kids.
Good job.
Make a lot of cats.
Seriously, good
Well, I
job.
know.
Now, this could also be a baby powder.
You want? I
My
just
dad
want to.
taught me all this.
I just want to say something. If anyone, it's past 9:30, so if anybody needs to go, it's
Okay.
Cool. Because we want to keep respect everyone's time here.
Yeah, thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for letting all of us know. Here's one other thing.
Ooh, somebody told me something interesting about the letter P.
So, anybody see that three-dimensionally?
What do you mean by
Yeah. Like it's there's a different dimension, like it's kind of popping out of the board.
the P is popping
What if
out?
that's three-dimensional?
It's a backward dollar sign.
It's like a music.
Let's see. Let's say this is the I am stroke.
Right.
That looks three-dimensional. Now, represent that on two-dimensionality.
So you're wrapping around the I am stroke versus drawing over it.
Right.
So the,
Now your letters are no longer two-dimensional.
Wow. You are blowing
just
my
with
mind
the
right now.
intention.
So
Now you're doing multi-dimensional magic.
you lace the
This
line.
is your wand.
Around the I.
So you put the I am and then the
Then now draw it around the front and then the back, whatever.
and you know what's so interesting, if I may, or yeah, so I'm gonna go with this.
If I may just continue with
Yeah,
what I
I'm
was
just
going
gonna
to say.
in music school, like day one, class one, you would have a treble clef, and you would write it out. And if you know what the treble clef,
Yeah.
and it's circles. It's very like this. It's very it's you draw the line, and then you go. What is it? It's like this. You draw the I am line, and then it's like around, and then you circle the bottom. But the circle always goes forward. And it's so fascinating that musicians got it, but the calligraphers,
There's a multi-dimensionality. I do know that musicians, that working with music, it does a lot for your mind and your brain.
Yeah.
A lot.
Very stimulating.
So, so what does that mean if like every letter of the alphabet has this potential three-dimensional or multi-dimensional quality to it?
Got a lot to study.
Or to enjoy.
Yeah, to be more like more
Can I
present.
show you guys something here?
Yeah.
On my phone, I put my code in that.
How do you read that?
Wow.
What?
Can I see that?
Black code. Yeah. You know what's really crazy?
So I got a So if you go to her website, you can actually buy the font and put it on your iPad or your Apple MacBook or your iPhone.
May I ask?
And then what I did is I actually sat down. I thought, what is my code? So part of it is I am a still point, and all things manifest from a still point. So I decided to write it in the color that was other than black on a blank piece of paper
But that's in
in the
black.
Vimala system, and I see it every single day. Every time I pick up my phone, I'm seeing it, and it's letting me know. So I'm literally seeing it dozens and dozens of times a day.
Programming.
Yep.
When was this book made?
It may have been done as late as like around '89,
Okay.
but I know that that kit came out only in the last couple of years.
Because I have a great grandmother who passed, but she was very into palm reading and she had psychic abilities and all these stuff. You know, she would talk about it, and most people thought she was crazy. I just was fascinated. You know,
Right.
most of our family's like, "Oh, grandma, there goes Grandma West again," and I just sit there and just taking it all in. And she would write me cards every year, and her handwriting is exactly like this. I would always
Really?
think it's so weird. Yeah, I'm like, why does she write like an alien? You know, that's what I'm thinking. It makes sense now.
Well, if you look at, do you guys have pick up your phone real quick. Just go to if you can go to the internet, go to IIHGHS.com,
What is it?
IIHS.com.
Yeah, the handwriting's right on top.
Yeah, you see the handwriting?
It's all good.
Okay, so it's completely intentional to draw the uppercase T on every one of those because you're trying to get more definition out of the I am.
Where is it?
What's that?
Oh, where did you find it?
It's intentional to draw the lowercase t's with the line on the top
Yes.
versus
So the way that she has the letter. So each of those letters in the book is explained exactly why. First, there's instructions on how to do it and why to do it that way as opposed to the other way. One of them is to make sure that the energy of the letters is moving forward, so all of your expression is moving into your future that you're magnetizing and you're manifesting. Right? The T, right? She talks about if you do a crossbar halfway down, a lot of times people will have low self-esteem issues or self-esteem issues. So I've noticed that for myself, a lot of stuff coming up as I've been doing it. I've got notebooks now notebooks that I've filled up like this. And so if you take two letters and you put them together, it's called a ligature. The first two letters of your last name. Here.
Yeah.
The letter BE represents the suspension bridge between spirit and matter. If you've ever meditated, then ended up being lost in that quiet inner space, you've experienced an expression of the letter BE, where it takes us on a fragile journey from earth to heaven, if you will, always offering a pathway back to where we came from. The declaration of intent for it is my physical world and my spiritual world dance together effortlessly. That's pretty cool. That's a part of your name.
Okay.
You as a being, right? You're a bridge between heaven and earth.
That's some deep stuff right there.
Now, like,
So,
my name,
Now, my one thing I want to mention, does this sound practical? Yes or no? Because if it doesn't sound practical to you, let me know.
I just never thought of these concepts before, and I write so much, it's like second nature. To think that it has a lot more meaning that I was putting into it is like, whoa, pretty cool.
the
Brings depth to your writing
Yeah.
and your expression. So what if so much of this is about returning to the soulful expressionism and intelligence that you were born with?
Makes sense.
Like in Chinese reflexology, how many people can see a baby upside down in the womb in the air?
Yeah.
See, this is the head?
Yeah.
Go look up auricular therapy.
how far along are you?
You know what happens? Well, I was just joking about that today. I'm like, you know what? Does the baby in my ear have a baby in his ear?
yeah.
Who has a baby in his ear?
Go look
Who has a
at
baby in his ear?
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but here's what I noticed. Watch. Take your hands. Rub.
Doesn't matter how, if your hands up or down.
Just
or
give yourself a really nice massage.
just came from
The baby is happy.
Right. Feel it?
Yeah.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Starts yawning. That's your spine. Rub down your spine. Now again, these are just maps, but what I've noticed is this is your head. How many people are drilling huge holes in their head?
Jake.
They're actually, it's so funny. What I say about them is they're my rankings in my tribe. People ask, why? What is
Jake, you go to massage your head and you fall out.
It's my ranks.
Oh, sorry.
Your rank?
Well, in like West, in
that a
East
10?
Africa, what?
Where you're
That's what
from?
they do.
Okay.
That's where I'm from. Yeah.
But you notice that?
Africa.
What's that?
So if you have this being in you that is completely innocent and enlightened, so to speak, is really pure, you come in and you get all this programming. Part of the work is to remove the blocks and limitations, like the standards, right? I went to what do they call it when I was in school? We had to stay after school. I don't remember that. It's kind of
Detention.
humiliating. Detention. Isn't that a wonderful name?
Ross?
Destination.
Yes,
That's what they call it?
No.
No. That's what he called it.
It's
Well,
alright.
that's what you call it, is destination.
Yeah.
Destination detention. Okay. So for me, guys, consider doing some handwriting. What is it that you want to manifest? Write it down and be
I am.
really specific.
And
In the
should
I
it,
am.
should it be written with our opposite hands so that does that make it more intentional?
Well, you could do either one. Do it as an experiment.
Is something more intentional if you're doing it with your opposite hand because you're thinking more?
No, it's not more intentional. What you said is, what I was told is that if you write with your, consider the possibility that maybe what you could do is one way to, when you write with your opposite hand, you're communicating to your inner
child.
child, your little boy or your little girl. Right?
It feels like a little kid too.
Yeah.
I mean, I notice that too when I write. My writing's kind of shaky. Even my word choices tend to be a little bit less mature. Right? I'm not writing words like chrysanthemum. I'm writing a word like flower. Right?
Oh yeah.
No, just check I know.
It's a good. It's not fun. It's fun.
It's not a saying or anything. Just check. Somebody last week was talking about the letters of the alphabet. He was saying that P stands for person. That was like first, whatever,
yeah?
whether he was right or studying something different. But P meant person, and then R was when people started venturing out. The extra line from the R was the leg of stepping out of your comfort zone, stepping into another
that?
world. Right. And then B was bringing it back.
That's really interesting.
So B was stepping out but coming back home. And it was just a loop.
Raj, you take it off?
Yeah, we should.
Okay, man.
Love you guys.
Yeah,
see,
I did.
see you later.
Love you guys.
Hey, Ross.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Probably a good time to wrap up pretty soon.
And we-
Thank you, by the way, Alex. So next week I'm going to present as well. And here's the thing. Does this make sense on how you can begin to look at releasing, having more joy?
Oh,
Okay?
yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, and I'll leave you guys with this one thing, or two things. Number one, next week, consider, if you haven't given me your email, will you please consider what it is you'd like to hear about specifically and send me an email? How about this? Will you send me an email, right?
Yeah.
docbomb@gmail.com.
I have it.
Doc bomb
Barham.
bomb.
B-A-R.
Jam.
Yeah.
H-A-M. Right? B-A-R-H-A-M.
I wrote Barham.
.org.
I think I called Rob twice.
He did.
Did I?
And Rav means
No one
rabbi.
can get his name right. I feel
Rob
like.
means rabbi? Really? That's
Yeah.
really funny.
And you were talking about, letters and going together. Like my first initial, my
Instead of
first
Holy
name
Grail,
is
it's
C,
Holy
my
Ross.
last initial is
Oh.
S. But in my
His
last
email
name,
is
my
in
first initial and second initial is S and C. Exactly opposite of my first and last.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's the opposite.
yeah.
Okay.
What's
There's-
the domain?
There's stuff about that as well. If you look up her website, she has like a group that you can receive each week, some information about each one of the letters and those kinds of things. And even the word alphabet, that comes from the Hebrew.
Yeah.
Right? Alphabet.
Thank you
Good
so
work.
much.
Thanks for
And
sharing the poem.
The olive is the X.
The Aleph is?
Yeah.
No, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it the X?
Yeah. Olive is from. It's close. That's swastika. Let's go with the opposite. But it's down here. That's the cursive letter. I'm sorry, that's the print, and then that's the cursive letter.
That's the cursive
That's olive.
of Aleph?
Yeah.
Okay. And doesn't one of them needs home or house?
Yeah, when this is drawn out more correctly, this is like a chimney.
I like-
This is supposed to be the house.
Everything back a little bit.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna write my goals with my left hand.
Yeah.
My intention.
Did you choose
Yeah.
anything? You just knew
Going
that was
so
going to be here,
down.
and you were just randomly doing that one.
Like, but in the I am.
It's so crazy.
I am.
Like how he had on his phone?
Wait, let me ask you real quick.
Let's all come up and say bye to the camera.
With the I ams. Okay. With the I ams.
Everybody come up, picture.
Your goal is that I am. Your goal that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
I am. Like it's already present.
Carol. Like mine says, I am already this.
And I
I'm
said,
already that. I'm already.
Alright. We'll all wave goodbye and then I'll take a picture. That's the end of the video.
Yeah.